Ladies and gentlemen, gamers and champions, welcome to the 2024 Honor of Kings Open Series Split 1. Get ready to see the convergence of skill and strategy as teams from various realms come together to compete for glory. This is your chance to witness the rise of Titans and be part of this ongoing epic. The road to the final will unfold in 2 stages, the round of 16 to the finals and the grand finals. In the first stage, 4 regions will take part. Turkey, EEU will compete on May 16th to 17th, followed by MENA and a mysterious wildcard on May 18th to 19th. Only the 2 most resilient teams from each region will advance to the prestigious EMEA Regional Finals, which will be held from May 30th till June 2nd. 8 teams will face off in an electrifying offline showdown. A staggering prize pool of $23,000 is waiting for those who are brave enough to seize it. Those who demonstrate unparalleled skill and control of the game. Join us, witness the path journey of champions and of history in the making.
You have the immunity coming in. That's going to be the launch connecting in as well. Winter is here being set out. Everyone is actually in the mid lane. Killing Spree going over to Tom. A lot of damage coming in indeed. Crucial crowd control coming in for the side of the red team. 2K actually going over to Tom, and it looks like from 1, 2, 3, 4, now it's 5 kills going over to the side of Omega Nemesis. 3 kills, a triple kill going over to our Lee, and 2K for Easy Babi, which is Dharma. A 10-minute ace, and actually, they go straight in, they get the crystal, and they get game number 1. Ult again being popped. MZK does get spotted out, but that will be the ultimate coming in. Burning Sun Arrow does connect, but with that, the objective has been stolen, and another kill will get stolen as well. First blood going over to Zhang Fei, but now they want more. They smell blood, they get more blood. That's the kill going over to Lam Haido, gets bursted down, but Ray on this Kaiser trying to get away, but still the kill going over to Omega Nemesis.
It could all just start here. The HoK ultimate did land from downtown. Ray looking very low here. He does proc his ultimate, but it's not enough. The zone damage, the nukes coming from Princess Frost. Zhang Fei over the wall as well, putting pressure onto the High Nu as well. It is the only team member alive no longer. He falls quadra kill. 2-9-1-9 again. Somebody called 9-9-1 for the side of 7C because their crystal is going down in game 2 and they lose 2-0. Now going to be on cooldown for Mr. HoK. He has been now put in the naughty corner with that long range stun, but a stun untargetable. Huyan there completely just mitigating that CC there from Angela as well. But then we have Snow at the back of the queue. Trying to do some damage there. We see a takedown from KK. Yin's down, Dream's down, Fable is down. The only thing left is Win in.
I have to say though, Snow on this Majin, I love how he used and utilizes this hero. But anyway, going back to the match, that will be another mid lane turret taken down. KK did try to target Mosey, but with another cannon blast, looks like this Peace Bringer will be able to bring chaos onto their opponents, because I think inside the box will be popped there as well. And now Snow is on the killing spree. We thought it's going to be a game number 3, but it looks like AGHK, they close it out with a 2-0. gamers! We hope you guys are excited because today is the grand finals for Honor of Kings Open Series Wildcard Split 1. But today we will be having a best of 7. We're gonna be your casters. I'm Yuko, alongside me is Blam.
How's it going, everybody? We are happy to be here once again, obviously giving you the last little bit of the Split 1 wildcard qualifiers. This match is obviously just to define who is going to be the first or second team in this bracket, because both of these teams do qualify for the regional final in the offline broadcast. So obviously, both these teams are going to be very happy that they have already got through to that point. They are just trying to find out who is the better team finishing off and rounding off this bracket.
Agreed, but of course, like what you said, they will still see each other in the LAN, which I'm so excited because at least for my region, there's not much LAN events for Honor of Kings. Maybe soon, so I'm gonna have to live vicariously through this region and through these players.
Yes, and speaking of these players, they are returning once again on the team of Omega Nemesis. We have Easy Baby, we have MZK, 919, Tommy, and Pegasus. Obviously, this has been a fantastic roster that we really liked the performance of yesterday, but these were the AGHK roster as well, with Devil, Zaze, Quinling, the person I cannot name, Mio Sotis, and Snow as well. But both of these teams played phenomenally yesterday, finishing off both of these matches with a 2-0. So is it going to be the battle for that 4-0, or are we actually going to see that full best of 7 that we all hope for?
I think, well, my prediction, no one asked, but I was thinking about it before we started casting. I think we might see a 4-2 today, solely because we've seen the similarities on their playstyles. It's just, all about who gets to jump in first, who gets that better draft first. But speaking of good drafts and better drafts, Lamb, the hero that gave a lot of problems yesterday, has been picked up by AGHK. Sadly, we won't be seeing any Arlie for this game. I am sad, but there won't be any Mermaid here as well.
Yeah, so unlike the Split 1 grand final we just saw, where Dolia actually came through quite a few times for Stalwart Esports, she is getting the banhammer in that first match straight away with her banhammer partner, Dio-chan, as well. But yeah, Lamb is one of the heroes that ADHK actually played yesterday in the second game, and obviously we saw that 919 actually got a quadra kill to finish off the game as well with this hero, so already setting that standard very high on that prior blue pick for the Lamb. And then we look over to the side of Omega Nemesis. So again, this team picked Zhongfei both times in yesterday's matches, and Princess Frost as well. So again, these are two clear comfort picks for this team.
Agreed. And I think another pretty hot pick from yesterday was Mayin. We've seen her a lot in the Clash lane solely because of whatever, and her combo is just really, really strong, can disrupt a lot of these possible mid laners. I was expecting to see a Dama today, but sadly, he got banned out by Omega Nemesis, so no one's punching anyone here, okay? And no one will be a ninja and slicing anyone in the game as well, because Prince of Landling has been banned out, and Byron, another hot pick yesterday, was banned out by Omega Nemesis.
Yeah, we can kind of see those finalizing stages of the ban phase is going after those gaps in the team comps, because Omega Nemesis have gone for two big Baron lane picks, and then on the side of AGHK, they have gone for two very flashy jungle picks, which yesterday Omega Nemesis went for the Lamb and the Musashi. So again, Musashi is still open. We did see, for some reason, AGHK was thinking of the Musashi on that second pick, but then picked up the Renji and the Angela as well. Is this going to be the late game queen coming through, as we saw in the last grand finals for the MENA region there? Wawa playing the Garo very well, and we are going to be seeing it on the side of Omega Nemesis. That late game queen is coming through. How do we feel about that one, Yuko?
Honestly, I love Garo. I just don't like that she takes a lot of time to scale, but like what you said, she is our very own late game queen. So once the late game is there, maybe even, 13 minutes, 15 minutes, she's a problem. I remember Wawa played her so well in the previous live stream. It's all about positioning, and when you have Zhang Fei, that's actually not a problem at all. You also have the CC and the control coming out from Princess Frost here. So I think the Garo pick really, really made sense, and maybe the Musashi pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they have the Masashi pick locked in, it's then going to obviously just thicken up that front line from the Zhongfei as well. But not only do you have the support on that front line from the Musashi and the Zhongfei, you're also going to have it from the Princess Frost as well. So a massive AoE slow, great nuke damage from that mage in the mid lane. But then we obviously have the counter, which is Angela in the mid lane as well, being the fire mage herself with the CC immunity. So if we see Masashi actually go in and try and focus this Angela in these team fights, it's actually not going to go too well for him if AGHK Devil times those CC immunities very well. So again, I think this is a pretty stacked out roster for both teams, and what a great way to kick off game one in this full best of 7 with a fantastic team composition on both sides. Which one are you favoring right now?
Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna say it. I love Princess Frost. I don't know how to use Yin, but I love players that could utilize her. And it's the first time we're gonna be seeing a Garo. So I'm gonna have to go with Omega Nemesis here. How about you, Mr. Blam?
Yeah, it's a hard one to call, but I think after the performance of yesterday, I can honestly say I can see it within AGHK's performance that they could easily tame this beast that is Omega Nemesis, because yesterday we saw Omega Nemesis just absolutely become this aggressive monster in the early game that 7 Chaos could just not handle. But I feel like AGHK is going to be more than that chocolate doorstop that I talked about yesterday. I think they are going to be the unmovable object meeting that unstoppable force. So getting into game one, very excited to see how this game one concludes. But again, this is just all the starting points. But I think it's good for us to both take a point for one team and the other. So there's no caster curse going on right now, which is clearly what happened in the KPL spring competition yesterday. Clearly, a lot of people favored All Gaming. They did lose, and Wolves won. I think it's for the 5th or 7th time in a row. So could this be a curse for All Gaming as a brand, or can this be the redemption that they need for the brand?
I hope it's the redemption arc because I love that. But I did see the predictions, and it's funny because, like what you said, all, if not most of the casters were on your side. So afterwards, they're like, yeah, I think there's a caster curse thing. It's not their problem, it's ours. So, it doesn't kind of count. So now that we did the 1-1 thing, it's all gonna depend on the team. We're just casters saying the narrative and calling their amazing plays, right? Right?
Absolutely. I think it's more than just casters. I think there is definitely a caster curse that is present and prevalent within the esports scene, no matter which game it goes to. But again, I think it's just a great way to start this best of 7 is just seeing some of these power picks come through, like the Direnji, the Lian Po. We haven't even spoken about the Lian Po there. So having such a fantastic jungler like the Lamb, being able to get in and out of slippery situations, have a fantastic engage. You've then got this man with the meteorite fist that can CC your team. It can pretty much cover some distance with his ultimate as well and cause some real damage when he has his passive pretty much stacked as well. So again, I can't call it which team comp I like more, but what I am calling there is that first blood in the top lane there. So Snow taking a kill onto Easy Baby. So easy kill for Snow in the Clash lane, giving the first blood over to AGHK.
I mean, you know what? If you're a Clash laner, that's something you would want in the early game. So thankfully, with the help of his teammate, they were able to do that. And I feel like you got it right, okay? AGHK, they definitely know and they have what it takes to be able to tame the opponent, which is Omega Nemesis for now. That's going to be a jump in coming in from Quing Lin. No follow-up just yet. Probably to just push back MZK, which was phenomenal, by the way. yesterday. Let's see if those skills on Zhang Fei will still be prevalent here in the grand final. It's a best of 7 again, so a lot of games definitely in store for us, and they already plan to take this one slowly. But you know what?
Ooh.
That kill was not slow at all. Despite the Frigid Prison being connected, that looks like that's still gonna be the kill going over to Lamb. Myosotis. I'm gonna pronounce his IGN that way. Hopefully I got it
Yep.
right. But now they are rotating over to the farm lane. Garo, of course, making sure space is created. That they were able to spot 919. That's conditional being popped as well. But looks like it will be the kill going over to Musashi. 919 was target, but he became now the predator. After that, AGHK, they decided to back away.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable point to back away there when you actually lose a life, and a life like Liam Poe, which could be your backline into a late team fight brawl, just disappears like that. And that's the beauty of having the Garo, having the Princess Frost, and having the Musashi there as well as a 3v1 taking down the Liam Poe. But I think it's fair props to Omega Nemesis actually getting the kill on the board here, because we saw yesterday AGHK did give, Freezing Esports actually gave them a pretty solid game. Obviously, no victories were on the board for Freezing Esports, however, but I feel like they actually did a great performance. And so far, I'm not disappointed with Omega Nemesis. They are still keeping their own. The momentum is definitely a different breed, but it's still working against AGHK.
You know, as the song goes, I can't sing, so I will say it in poetry. Keep holding on. I think that's something Omega Nemesis is doing right now. They don't really engage on these full-blown team fights just yet. Usually a pick-off here and there, but that's about it, because AGHK, they do have a lot of pick-off potential. I mean, look at that Lamb, look at that Elaine. They are doing their best to be able to give some safety net or protection from Zay's. Quinglin has been jumping in and out of the mid lane as well. But for now, at the farm lane, looks like the Renji, Zay's, is trying to push his opponent back. MZK did get some damage here and there. Objectives are already up, and we might see an objective dance, but it looks like Lamb has his eyes set on this one. Garo again on the safe side, but someone that's not safe right now is actually Mayan. Easy Babi does get bursted down. You also have Winter is here being popped. Looks like that's a bit of damage being taken by Quang Lin, and the Sun is going to be connecting onto 1919. Looks like that is going to be a 1-0-2. Killing spree going over to Snow. What a good combo coming in from Elaine. That was quite the Moonlight Flash. But now AGHK, they rotate over to their buff area. You know, if we get an objective and we get the kill, might as well get their buff.
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful performance there by AGHK Snow. We saw an actual death on Sunset today. I mean, this is already starting to be a fantastic series, because yesterday we saw the Freezing Esports pick up the Elaine, but there was definitely no death on Sunsets there. But yet today, already, Snow having a fantastic performance on this hero in the Clash lane. And all that was able to shift the team fight away from that Tyrant, allowing both the DRNG and the Liampo to just finish the Tyrant as well. So again, a masterful play there by AGHK. But did I expect anything less from this team compared to their performance yesterday? Definitely not.
True. I mean, the consistency is definitely the key here, and looks like that will be the first turret drawn, or first turret down for game number 1. There you go. Again, another 2v1 at the mid lane. That is going to be the ultimate connecting onto one, and this Angela. Okay, I love the Angela play so far. It really works. All of those magic damage, all of those very clean targeting, it really makes the game worth it. Blazing Brilliance, really a problem. I mean, I don't really like getting hit by the ultimate as well. It's a slow, it has so much damage, the range is crazy, but Devil is definitely making it work. Will they find more kills though? Looks like Snow has his eyes set on MZK, but that is a Zhang Fei. He is quite tanky. With that, the other members of AGHK are slowly boxing in their opponents. Let's see how far can they last. The objective is up. Maybe they might take a pick off, or they can use this as a bait before starting any fight.
Yeah, we can kind of see the main already looking for a macro rotation there to try and at least get one turret on the board for Omega Nemesis. But a great engage there from Liempo, but nothing worse to come of that because, again, they managed to take that first tier turret. Hopefully now we may see a pickup from either of the Zhongfei or even the first blood onto the Garo, because Garo has not fallen yet, which is probably for the best because all this hero needs to do is just farm up, get some items, and then they're back on the horse as a team as well, because not only does she have the silence, she has the attack speed increase and critical rate increase when she uses her Sphere of Purity as well. And then obviously, if you use that skill again, your team gets the critical rate and movement speed within that circle and then damage any enemies within that circle as well. So again, I think if they just keep this Garo safe and keep her fed, we could see a little bit of a turnaround in that 10-minute mark if it's not over by then.
Agreed. You know, just give her maybe 3 items and she will go ham. But now it looks like someone that wants to go ham is actually from the side of AGHK. Was able to get 4. That's even the sun connecting as well. You have Alice jumping in with the ultimate. And with that, of course, you have Lamb. That was the perfect opportunity to get not 1, but 2 kills. You also have Pegasus doing his best to be able to get away. Blazing Brilliance, definitely a problem. Also has the Chaos Cinders there. That was a 2-0 in favor of AGHK. 7-1 now on the board with a 4K lead in favor of the blue team.
Yeah, I feel like the tempo for AGHK has definitely been mastered and has been set because they managed to get that mid lane turret as well. And we all know how important that mid lane turret is in Honor of Kings. It gives such a great vision for the enemy team that pick up the mid lane turret there. It also allows them to get into the brushes like we can see here with Liempo. He is able to have free roam there because he knows that they cannot retreat to that first tier turret anymore. It is fair game in the enemy jungle thanks to the Derenji picking up that mid lane turret. But just a quick little look over to the gold difference. Even though Derenji has not got, is obviously clearly showing that AGHK are AGHK, sorry, are the team that are winning. They are not quite that ahead of gold in the farm lane. However, in the clash lane, it is a completely different story with Snow taking up another kill from Omega Nemesis, and it is against his clash laner.
And looks like we have another fight here at the mid lane, trying to juggle that 1v3, 1v4. Shot on goal does go over to 919. Someone called 911, right? That's the kill going over to this. That was a very, very good combo coming in with the legal immunity as well as respect the law. There, we can finally see some moments of brilliance for Omega Nemesis. The draft is finally working, but it looks like AGHK still gets some stuff for themselves.
They are picking up little minor victories, but I think overall they are painting the picture for the bigger victory as well. But because we're currently looking here at 9 kills to 3, we're at 29. I'm going to be charitable. I'm going to give them that 30k. It's 30k to almost 26k. And then in terms of the objectives, there's no turret, actually no, 1 turret being taken down on the side of AGHK. But we are going to take a small little intermission there. There seems to be a bit of a technical support, but we will get that iron through. But as I was saying, it seems to be going in the favor so far for AGHK. Do you think there's anything that Omega Nemesis can do to come back from this, Yuko?
I think it's to give a handful more time for Mayin to be able to make things happen, but maybe there's a moment we've been waiting for. But as you can see, AGHK is still very consistent with their aggression. You know, Snow is now unstoppable. Goodness me. Now you have Angela with the combo there as well. 30 seconds of no clash laner. We're finally seeing some moments of brilliance for Omega Nemesis. Just focus down on Snow if you can, but at the same time be wary of Devil's ultimate as well as Zay's scaling, because a DRNG Imperial Order, just one throw, it can like take down 3 or 4 bars from Pegasus' life.
Yeah, I mean, that fight in the clash lane just shows that Snow is not just unstoppable. It's a lane definitely has his flaws as a hero, and it was clearly shown there. Even though they managed to take down both the Zhongfei and the Garo, it still seems that they can pick off the lane. They have brought that 1 kill all the way up to 5. So again, just before that little technical issue, it was 9-1. Now it's 11-5, but we have a Liempo going in here. Had to retreat because of the Princess Frost and the Mayeen being very close by as well. But we didn't see, however, that Omega Nemesis managed to pick up the Vanguard. And speaking of pickups, there is a pickup kill on the side of AGHK, picking up the kill onto Princess Frost. Can they take their first higher ground turret here in the farm lane? We have 2 minion waves looking pretty fierce in the mid lane and in the farm lane. Had to see if they can assault both of these higher ground turrets, and it looking like it is going to be a clean conclusion here for that mid lane turret being taken down. So no high ground turrets in both of those lanes. We're using Dorenji to take down the mid lane turret there, and down goes the Jung face. So the backbone has been brittled and broken on the side of Omega Nemesis, and picking up the first round in this best of 7 is AGHK.
Wow, that was quite a game, number 1. And I mean, it was a lot of back and forth, but honestly, I think the game was a lot more stable for AGHK's side, solely because of Elaine, Nature Kill. Hello, that was quite an early game, right? On top of that, honestly, there's no other way to say it. Lamb, that jungler, man, in the early game, he got to rotate so much. He got so much usage, was able to catch Mayeen and even the other members of one Nemesis during the early game. That's just so they can stop them from the mid game. We did mention Garo multiple times during the draft, the pick and ban phase. I actually had high hopes for her, but I think one of the counters is if she's strong in the late game, make sure there won't be any late game. That was quite the control for AGHK though.
That's it. I mean, we called her the queen of the late game, but if she's not crowned, she cannot be the queen of the late game. And that was pretty much AGHK's motion there in that early game. It was very aggressive. It was like we was watching Omega Nemesis from yesterday, because they generally have that early game aggression, but this time around it actually was AGHK that had that fantastic early game into the mid game. They obviously picked up the Tyrant, stuff like that, but again, I think it was all because the Clash lane didn't need much love, because Snow was just trailing a whole way against in that Clash lane, and then like you said, with the Lamb able to get in, rotate very well. However, the Liempo was caught out quite a few times in this whole fight, and I was actually kind of seemed like a bit of a scapegoat pick for the side of AGHK, it seems, from watching these replays. Is very much sort of like, go in, if I die, don't worry about it, guys, just pick up as many kills as you can. I'll get those multi knockups, just make sure that Angela, Dorenji, and Elaine get those kills, and don't worry about me.
I think my personal favorite play, it was in the highlights earlier on, the 4-hero Tremor Smash coming in from Quing Lin. So Magma Slam lasts for 2 seconds, right? I think there were moments where he was able to utilize this, got that very good setup, and even if he doesn't, let's say he dies, he saves his teammate. So it's all about picking your poison, making sure either you secure the opening or you just save your teammate. Again, it was a very good shutdown by Pegasus, but there's really nothing you can do if you have a laser right at your face. And you mentioned at this point in the match that they are looking into getting the first ever inner turret, but instead they went straight to the crystal. And here are the post-team stats. Really great way to start our best of 7 here.
Oh, fantastic way. I mean, just look at those KDAs across the board. I mean, Dorenji not even picking up that many kills, but also on the no death run, clearly a hardcore player there, and especially picking up that 9.5k gold. So farm lane doing what farm lane does best by picking up all that gold, but also dealing out quite a bit of damage there. So 33.3% from the Dorenji. Obviously not closing those kills, but being a massive factor for the damage dealt. And then the next buy next to it is Lamb, so 30%. So we see that Snow claims these kills, claims those kills by freezing them with the death on Sunset, but actually not doing that much damage. So playing the assassin lane very well, and knowing when to sort of engage, pick up the kills, get out of there, same as the lamp. So I can only surmise, and yes, we are correct, that Snow picks up the MVP for game 1 with that 29.1k damage, KDA of 6.1, and then obviously damage taken as well, 28k, so very close to what the damage he did. He took that back. So it's that same phrase: if you can give, you can take as well. You have to take if you can give that damage, and that's exactly what MVP of game 1 Snow did.
You know what? He is actually making me curious about how to use a lane in the Clash lane. I don't really use him, but after all of that good plays, I think it's time to sneak a game. But we can't, because we're gonna hop into game number 2. Our teams are ready. First ban for Omega Nemesis side will be a Hino. We won't be seeing any Fate Rewind, none of those ultimates, none of those, pokes that hurt a lot. I do want to see, though, if we will see a Dawn pickup, because that's a hero that was quite famous yesterday, but we didn't really see him in game number 1.
Yeah, I think it's because of the caliber. I mean, I don't need to sort of like put down any of the other teams, but the likes of the junglers within AGHK and Omega Nemesis, they don't really need to rely on the safe jungle pick that is done. So I can imagine I mean, it was even hovered in the first game that Omega Nemesis was thinking about the Jing, and I literally got hairs standing up on my arm. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Jing's coming through, and he actually did it. But I feel like that is probably going to be a story to be told in the next few games coming. But looking at the bans here, so Zhang Fei gets chopped by the ban hammer by the team that did select him as well. And then obviously the Xiao gets banned, but they do miss out that second ban on the side of AGHK, which doesn't seem to be affecting them here because they still managed to pick up the Princess Frost and the lamp. So going forward again, actually Princess Frost does switch hands here, but Dolia is picked up on the side of Omega Nemesis.
Finally, we will be seeing the lovely mermaid. We also have Gan and Mo picked up. Not much presence in the early game. Menki might get... Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna stop that thought. Please forget that I said anything. But we do have the Kaiser here. I think this is a much more safer play because of the Blade Tempest as well as Invincible Warrior. It's the perfect setup for ADCs, maybe even for Gan and Mo. I remember you mentioned something yesterday, the anti-social team, right? Maybe we'll see the lineup for Omega Nemesis again, but a hero that we did highlight in game number 1, ENG, will still make his way into game number 2.
I don't think about this will be the setup for the antisocial club. It may be 4 parts of the antisocial club, but then the social butterfly that is Kaiser, because we know how much he loves to get into those team fights. The amount of sustain this hero has, he is definitely a social butterfly. He can clearly bring these antisocial heroes into a group and work together. But like you were saying, the synergy with Dolia and Kaiser is definitely one they don't want to miss out on, because again, this is a huge pickup for any region, is Dolia and the Kaiser. Giving him 2 ultimates, giving him basically 18 seconds of unkillableness is crazy. If they can execute that, I think AGHK could be in for a troublesome team fight, especially if they have an aggressive early game like we're used to seeing with Omega Nemesis. But just looking at those freshly banned heroes, we have the Sun Bin and we have Mayeen being taken down here. So a little bit of a focus onto the Clash lane, even though neither team has Clash lane heroes selected.
Muzi being banned out as well. And then looking at AGHK's side, you already mentioned this, but yeah, they don't really like their Clash laners. Given the fact that Omega Nemesis is missing a Clash laner, so they took out arguably the... Not really the best, because my money's still on Byron. So maybe that's the hero that Omega Nemesis will pick up. There is a hover on Cayenne, though. If you want healing, definitely your hero will be a good combo for Princess Frost as well, just because they have all of those CCs. A hover on Marco Polo. Let's see if they will lock that in. I would love to see this hero in game number 2. I want me that Fevered Barrage. But Dharma is also available. They could lock that in. Get all of those stuns. Get all of those setups for Marco Polo. Plus, maybe the healing coming out from Dahlia.
Absolutely. I mean, we did say that we weren't going to see a Dharma in game 1. We didn't. We may see a Dharma in game 2, and we have. We see that the last pick on AGHK, we saw a hover for Charlotte, we saw a hover for Byron, and now we are going for Guan Yu. So again, this is a hero that is a ride or die. If you cannot play, if you cannot keep his momentum up, it's game over. You can't play very coy with this hero. It has to be all about those aggressive movements in the early game, late game, mid game, and late game. There is no time for Guan Yu to stop. So I can imagine we'll be seeing Snow, just like he did with the Elaine, rotate very heavily with this hero.
Oh, you don't want that. I mean, honestly, one of the worst things to see is a Fed Clash laner making their way into your lane. I will cry. I'll probably pray to everything I know that exists just so I can survive. But we hope you guys are enjoying the game so far. I'm happy to see people from different regions, pro players even, are actually watching the live stream. So we hope you are enjoying there. And in any timeline or whichever part of the world you are in, please don't forget to invite your friends. And if you didn't download Honor of Kings yet, why haven't you downloaded it yet, guys? You need this in your phone, right? Right? Agree with me, please.
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you there, Yuko. Don't worry about that. But again, even though this is taken away from time we could be playing on the game, I think this is a very exciting moment anyway. Just seeing these wildcard teams surface and show some new talents that a lot of people haven't been exposed to yet. I mean, the only reason I'm exposed to some of these players on the side of AGHK is because I've done my homework. I've watched the KIC all the way through, especially the qualifiers, the wildcard qualifiers, where we saw some of the Western teams take part in that, but unfortunately get destroyed by one team. But yeah, we are getting into game 2. Is this going to be a 2-0 already, or will we see Omega Nemesis clap back with that Dharma? I should say punch back, but clap back does sound better. However, but again, another great team comp going into game 2. I can't fault either team. Other than that kind of pocket pick from Guan Yu, it needs aggressive plays. It needs heavy rotation to keep that momentum up for this hero. So it's going to be interesting to see how Snow changes and adapts to the playstyle of Guan Yu.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned lineups. I honestly think this is such a good adjustment from Omega Nemesis side. I mean, we mentioned Dahlia's ultimate. Celestial Melody definitely gives a lot of help and sustain from the team fight. Maybe put the wish on 919 or Tom. You know, 2 ultimates will always be better than 1, and you can only do that if you are a Dahlia. So I can't wait to see how they will play around with this team fights. That was quite some damage coming out from Princess Frost, but someone that got out, even though he got a lot of damage, was actually my Sotis here. Will be able to rotate over into the mid lane. No casualties just yet, but they do definitely have their eyes set on the aggression here. Some peaks here and there at the farm lane, but Marco Polo will be A-OK. Also has Purify, just to make sure that his ultimate, Fevered Barrage, will not be cancelled in a crucial moment.
Yeah, we still haven't seen a first blood yet, which is a little bit of a different tale from game 1. However, there has been quite an assault on that farm lane turret early on. So again, that turret has taken a fair beating because of the likes of Derenji and Little Loot, or Kayan, whatever you want to call them, are down in the farm lane there. But we're seeing a little bit of a reflective playstyle in that mid lane as well, where we see Dolia and Ganmo, which I feel like isn't something of a synergy that we did pick up on in the draft, because if we could see Pegasus land those couple's blades, whether they be short or long, that 1 second knock up from Dolia could be the difference of actually picking up some kills here. But well played by Nebes. Oh, I was about to give him his dues there by pushing away the lamb with his guard her grave skill. That's skill 1 from Ganmo, but still gets picked up because of Snow rotating round so aggressively with this Guan Yu, which is what we stated in that draft. He has to be aggressive, or this hero is just a non-starter in the Clash lane, but played beautifully there by Snow.
Man, looks like that's going to be a lot of damage taken by Lamb as well. And I do agree, this is definitely how Snow is supposed to play in the early game. Get all of those surprise pickoffs, get all of those shoves in just so that your team can follow up and get those kills. I mean, he was supposed to give them, but he actually got the 2-0 himself. But hey, who are we complaining? Clash Laner, 2 kills in the early game. Everyone would want that. So I think right now, Omega Nemesis, they, number one, let Tom farm like any farm laner ever, but maybe ask help from 919 as well to try and go up against the rotation that Snow is doing. But easier said than done. Let's just see how things will pan out. Easy Babby, you mentioned, let's wait for that very good clap back on Dharma.
Yeah, we're currently seeing a overall gold lead going to AGHK as well. So there is no sort of like define a lane that is taken that whole gold difference between one or the other. It seems to be separated very evenly between the Clash lane, the jungle, and obviously farm lane, which obviously being heroes like Durenji, Lam, and Guan Yu, you kind of want that gold to be given to all 3 of these heroes, because the more items these heroes get, the easier those team fights are going to be. So if Lam gets his tankier items, he's going to be more sustainable within the team fights, be able to get away with little health as well at the same time. But with the like of Kaiyun on their team, is health going to be something that Lam is going to have to worry about once he's got his HP regen item? Probably not. But giving those items, those attack damage items to Guan Yu is definitely going to mean for a faster rotation and more aggressive, more a slap in the face when you see him on the horse. I mean, it's not going to be a slap in the face from a horse. It's going to be a slap from that huge blade from Guan Yu when he rotates down to your lane. But again, AGHK playing the same kind of game. They are very aggressive. Yes, we saw a little bit of a later first blood being picked up there by AGHK, but nonetheless, they did take up a double kill as part of the first blood.
I know I said I think the series will go 4-2, but for some reason, AGHK, I smell like they want the 4-0. They want the series to end already, okay? Because of how quick they get all of these early game pickoffs. Let's see how far and how long Omega Nemesis can survive though. So for now, no solid response from the blue team yet, because they obviously want to be careful and just give space, especially to Pegasus, since Gon and Mo late game. I strongly believe if Renji did not have legal immunity, they have to wait for him to pop that skill first. With the Couple's Blade, they will be able to clean that farm laner out. But now, tower shields are already down. You have Winters here being popped. That's going to be 919 rather, taking in some damage. That will be Couple's Blade being popped again. And it looks like now, Omega Nemesis, they really want to go all in. That will be ultimate coming in from Dahlia. The objective does go over to 919. Will they back away? Will they fight? Looks like some will jump in, but some will back away. Easy Babby, the one that jumped in, was able to get 1 kill though. Quing Lin will have to go 6 feet underground. Now you have Tom on this Marco Polo being able to just shoot bullets all around. That was the Resplendent Revolver. And now here is the follow-up in the middle of everything. Lam got 1 kill. Actually gunning for 2, was not able to get that, but still a trade is a trade.
Yeah, I mean, we was waiting for that response, like you said earlier, Yuko, for Omega Nemesis, and I feel like that was quite a little bit of a response there. That was definitely a whisper in the wind, because we saw only 1 kill get picked up there, but it did limit any sort of collateral damage, basically, because Lam was looking for a second kill. They were still looking to pick up that farm lane turret, but however, they still hold on to another life and the same turret. However, Guan Yu does take the first turret on the side of AGHK up in the Clash lane. Again, they've left this horsey alone, which you shouldn't do. Don't leave baby in the corner. Don't leave horse on his own, because clearly he can aggressively assault these turrets when nobody's there. But again, we could see a team effort accumulate by AGHK in this mid lane. 919 is looking a little bit shaky. The only reason he got out of that one alive is because Kaiser has such fantastic sustain, but Lam's going back in, trying to pull 919 away from the Dahlia, but it doesn't work. He still managed to slip out of there. Guan Yu coming through as well, but again, such a glass cannon. We see a pickup there from Kaiyun onto 919.
Wow, you know what? I can see that Zay's damage is definitely there. Finally, the ramping up on damage for AJHK side is very, very prevalent. Respect the law. That yeah, I definitely number one, I definitely respect the law. Number two, his respect the law hurts a lot. What, under 10 minutes, we can see that they really are in it for securing the early game lead. That was too close for comfort, but thankfully that is a Marco Polo. Does have roaming gun, was able to jump his way into safety, but someone that's not safe right now is actually Pegasus, because funnily enough, the hero that he used yesterday, which is Frost, was the one that took him down this time around. Flicker is still available. A lot of very good Winters here plays coming out from Devil. With that, they will push in further, maybe get a buff. Snow has his eye set on 919, but now that's gonna be B. Frigid Person connecting onto one. Killing spree going over to Snow and AJHK. They smell blood. They want more. Resplendent Revolver will be popped, but it looks like Tom is forced to back away. Now you have Dahlia with the Ode. Was able to push some enemies back, but I don't think it will be enough.
Yeah, just watching these engages now with the likes of Lemon Guan Yu, I realize how much of a bully team comp this is, because if you're not getting pushed back by Lam, you're getting pushed back by Guan Yu. So if you think you escape one push, there comes a horse with a big shove, and it's clearly working because AGHK are on 6 kills to 1 now, and 22.2k gold difference there against the 20k difference on the side of Omega Nemesis, potentially lining up either of these second tier turrets in the clash lane or the mid lane here. It's looking, however, that AGHK Zaz and Quinglin is going to pick up that second tier turret in the clash lane, so more oppression in the clash lane for AGHK onto Omega Nemesis. We are, however, missing some sort of clash here going around the red buff. 919 still manages to pick up his red buff. No one has died. I think that could be classed as a minor victory for Omega Nemesis.
Yeah, I take that victory because any good decision at this point is already a lead, and you know a lead is a lead nonetheless. But I also want to emphasize this pickup for Kayan on AGHK side. Now, his second skill is called Earworm, and basically it's a sound wave that when it hits the enemy, they get stunned. And if you can recall, Omega Nemesis, they usually come together. So I think that's another problem that they have to withstand. If they don't get pulled back, they're probably going to be stunned, but that's going to be Winter is here being popped, Kaya in the middle of everything. You also have the Lamb being able to get one kill. Looks like that's going to be the old being popped as well, but members from Omega Nemesis is being gunned down for the side of AGHK. But now you have Zace with so much damage. 919 does re-engage. He will be A-OK. Zace again with that 2K was able to pop in with the basic attacks. Overall, that was a 3-2 in favor of AGHK, the team on the red side.
Gotta give props to Omega Nemesis there, getting another 2 kills, but is that going to be enough to keep their horse? Forgive my pun intended, even though the horse is on the other team, but they need a horse in this race, and is that 2 kills going to keep their horse in this race? Probably not, because of just how well AGHK are playing these team fights. And just like you said, Yuko, we normally see Omega Nemesis when they are clumped together in these team fights, and when you have that knock-on effect from Kayan's second ability that stuns and hits and goes boop, boop, boop. Not only is that a frustrating thing for me, it's solo queue. I can imagine going into a team fight that you're already, the odds are against you, and you've got this ball bouncing off you, CCing you for 1 second. That 1 second can seem like a lifetime when you are angry, when you are sweating like this British guy right now in this summer heat. But we are seeing the Shadow Tyrant being respawned here and already making steady work towards it is AJHK. Can we see 191 steal it? Oh ho! Crucial kill theft from 191. Speaking about those small victories there, we see them pick up the Shadow Tyrant, but still a little bit of a connection issue here. I want to see the conclusion. Give me the conclusion.
We need those answers, okay? That was quite the steal coming in from their opponents. And hey, even though you're feeling the summer heat, don't worry. Number one, we have Dahlia's Wavebreaker. That's a pull. We also have Princess Frost's Frigid Prison, which just, frees the opponent. Hopefully, all those skills will transfer to you so you can focus back on casting. But yeah, it's a lot of back and forth for game number 2. But I have to say, AGHK, they still do have this in the bag, but that was quite a steal from Kaiser. Let's see if he'll be able to use Blade Tempest later on. But whoa, we're back and we see one double kill and one triple kill plus a shutdown. And another double kill apparently as out of back and forth. You have Gun and Mo with all those couple blades. Maybe later we'll see the freshly forged, but overall it's 6 and 14 in favor of AGHK, and they get first dibs on this objective. Looks like 919 is lurking onto the sides, and Myosotis is still the lamb that we know, scary, just being very sneaky. But now that's a lot of damage being taken by that same hero. Winter is here. Maybe the kill will be here as well. That will be Celso Melody being used, but Zace was able to secure the objective. Now they have the eye set on Dahlia. Stop giving second ultimates, and that'll be the kill being picked up by Lamb. He's now on a rampage. Shadow Vanguard has been summoned as well, but now AGHK, they are in it for the kill. They are continuing with the pressure. They finally have the damage that they need, and let's see how far they can take this.
Yeah, I think with the loss of that Shadow Tyrant, they had to pick up that Shadow Overlord there because of those Shadow Vanguards, being able to clear those minion waves. And as they slowly but aggressively attack this higher ground turret, it looks like that farm lane higher ground turret is going to go down. So it looks like it's going to be the same old song and dance here going into the 13-minute mark for AGHK against Omega Nemesis. I don't know if this next team fight is going to be the saving grace that Omega Nemesis needs, but down goes that high ground turret once again. It's the same MO from the last game. We see that 919 is trying to sustain all that damage, trying to soak all that goodness up for his squishy teammates, but he did do it. Unfortunately, he falls whilst trying to accomplish that one goal in order to keep his squishy teammates alive. But again, I feel like this is the backs against the wall moment for Omega Nemesis.
Agreed. Let's see how they'll be able to survive this far. That will be freshly forged, popped by Gan and Mo. And speaking of Gan and Mo, I did see him try to use Guard Her Grave as well as Couple's Blade earlier on. But Myosotis, I mean, being the lamb that he is, he jumped in. He actually got very close to Pegasus earlier on, which is, the weakness of Gan and Mo. That's why Omega Nemesis was not able to utilize the damage. Maybe they need space, okay, to be able to maximize this lineup. I'm still waiting on a very good Fevered Barrage from Tom as well. Either it gets cancelled, which is sad, or he just takes so much damage rather that he will not be able to answer in with the kill. 919 gets spotted out by Snow. Oh no, by Myosotis rather, but still an oh no. Now you have 911 in the middle of everything. Now Snow is there as well. He is in the middle of everything. Now you have Celso Melody being popped by Dahlia. Rampage going over to Snow. The first one to fall down will be Pegasus. No more swords coming out from Omega Nemesis. For that, looks like they'll be able to get this objective non-contested.
Yep, making up for that one that was stolen, they did pick up another Shadow Tyrant there on the side of AGHK. But do they necessarily need this going into these team fights? AGHK, they're very wary of them being in that bush. That we had MZK, we had Tom, we had Easy Baby, all just cluttered around in that brush. But I feel like AGHK have the vision, they have the know-how to know not to just wander into those brushes and give them a go-ahead into the next team fight. Down goes the last higher ground turret there for Omega Nemesis, and it's all riding on this last team fight, it seems. We're waiting for those minion waves to rock through in that mid lane and in the farm lane. It's all about how Omega Nemesis just keep this last lifeline alive. Are they going to make the mistake that they were hoping AGHK did by wandering into a brush, or are they going to just keep their heads level and try and come back from this Hail Mary moment, because it needs to be some sort of saving grace to get Omega Nemesis on that scoreboard?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. You need to be able to pull all of these call plays, but still try and hope that your opponents will make a mistake. But yeah, I don't think AJHK wants to make any mistakes this time around because right on cue, they do get the huge objective. And after that, they're pretty much confident to try and pick a fight. And as they were getting their objective, Snow, being the hard worker player that he is, was able to shove in the lanes towards the farm lane side. So like what you said earlier, no more structures of defense for Omega Nemesis. No more turrets. Whereas for AJHK side, they still have like 6 structures ready on their lanes. You also have quite the damage coming out from the team from the red side, and earworm coming out from Quing Lin. Lamb does jump in to try and taunt the opponent, but Ode has been popped as well as was the Wave Breaker. I think it's time for Easy Babby to make something happen. Let's see if something will happen. Lan will be there as well, but he does put in the damage toward the side of Omega Nemesis, but looks like they don't care. They want the crystal. They have the ice set, and with that, Snow is now unstoppable. Stuns are going to be connecting, but now Easy Bobby with everything. A double kill going over to Snow, and the crucial crowd control for Quing Lin. And as I say that, AGHK, they bag game number 2. We are now 2-0 so far for the grand finals in this series.
I mean, we've already seen one 4-0. It's looking like we could potentially be seeing another one here for AGHK. But to be fair, to Omega Nemesis, they managed to keep their grown 0 going for longer than most teams probably could against such a great team like All Game in Hong Kong. So fair plays to Omega Nemesis. Let's look at a few of these highlights. A majority of these will definitely be in favor of AGHK. But obviously we had the crucial kill theft on the side of Omega Nemesis, but just look at that pushing backwards and forwards between Guan Yu and Lam. You are basically being bullied on the schoolyard, pushed against 2 people, and there's nothing you can do. And I think that was probably the answer to this Marco Polo pick, because Marco Polo pick on the side of Omega Nemesis was their 4th pick. Guan Yu was the last pick. If they were trying to go in with a Marco Polo ultimate, you've got Guan Yu that can redirect it and completely stop that Marco Polo before he even gets a going. But again, AGHK Snow has just absolutely dominated the Gorge in game 2. But the same goes to Myosotis as well, a great player nonetheless. I think they both racked up the most kills in this game too as well. So I think the MVP could go either way, or we could see it because of the crucial crowd control from Quing Lin. We could see an MVP go to the support.
I feel like my personal MVP will be the Roam. Just, they need more love, okay? All of those kills, all of those plays won't be possible if there is no room. But I guess if we're gonna go with the flashy plays, I would have to go with Snow. He's so consistent, like game 1 and game 2. Someone needs to stop this guy, right? He's such a beast in the lane, and he keeps on rotating all over the map. And even here, in the last few moments of game number 2, he was unstoppable. Even got that double kill. And I think it's all about those plays and those controls they were able to do. But with that, here are the post-game team stats. 9-1 and 8. Okay. Bro is on fire.
And again, we're seeing the same kind of story from Zays again. So not many kills on the board, but farm lane doing what the farm lane needs to do, which is picking up all those pennies, pocketing it, picking up those items, doing a lot of damage. Once again, 38.5% damage by Durenji there, and then shortly followed by the Lamb as well. So once again, Snow not doing a lot of damage, but was just there to pick up those kills, do the little finesse, do the salt bait by popping the salt over the meat, and then just claiming those kills. So again, Snow knows what he's doing, and when Snow falls twice, he gets the MVP back to back. My boy, give room for others, please.
Right. Even a 100k damage, I would not want to be anywhere near this player, okay? But hey, that means AJHK, they're just performing really, really well. I love the priority onto the heroes and the draft as well, but that was quite a game number 2. We're gonna hop into a very short break, and when we come back, we're gonna be seeing game number 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Honor of Kings Open Series Split 1 Wildcard Qualifier. We are in the Grand Finals, and we're already into Game 3 as well. I am Blem, and with me is Yuko. How are we feeling going into Game 3?
I feel like I caster cursed the series. I just said I thought it will be a 4-2, but of course AJHK, they showed us quite the prowess in the first 2 games. Let's see though, maybe Omega Nemesis still has something up their sleeves, preferably Lamb, because he has such the win rate all throughout the series. I'm looking at the bans right now though. Dakyao is a consistent ban for the red side. You also have Mai being taken out, but another consistent pick, honestly, is Princess Frost. And Dahlia now going over to AGHK side.
Yeah, they're kind of like two little children pulling at a toy against the 2 arms on either sides with this Princess Frost, because we saw in game 1 it went over to Omega Nemesis, but this time it went over to AGHK for 2 times in a row. they didn't ban the lamb, which when I saw the ban and there was no lamb there, I was like, these guys are crazy. But then I realized that
Right.
919 saved my sanity and probably may have even saved game 3 for themselves and picked up lamb for themselves. And the bunny that Yuko saw outside has definitely charmed Ali onto the gorge as well. We get Ali pick up and they pick up the Cayenne for themselves. They think, you know what? That Cayenne and lamb combo worked very well for you, AGHK. We're going to pick it this time.
I like it. I like how they were able to answer that and adjust last minute. But yeah, we saw how good Snow was on a lane, so they said let's ban that out. Omega Nemesis doesn't have a clash laner just yet, so let's take some heroes out of the pool for them. But another consistent pick is actually DRNG. We haven't really see him go with the double kill, triple kills, but like what we've been seeing in game number 1, he does the initial damage and everyone else just follows suits. So let's see if we will be seeing the similar story or similar narrative here. But I'm also looking at the possible combination of this Arlie and Cayenne. If you do get to stun someone, Arlie can just jump in with the Lunar Recall, or at least land her passive to get more damage. And well, Luna is another consistent ban for the blue team side. And they don't want no horses in game number 3. This is a crucial match for AGHK. But now let's see who will be their 4th pick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see the Luna ban come through, we see Dharma ban as well as the Guan Yu. So Snow's like, I've used it once, I'm not going to bring this pony out for a second dance so he can rest this time around. But they are hovering over this Byron, and like you said, Yuko, this Dorenji is not being retired anytime soon, and it's being played very well by Zaze. He's not doing the most kills, but he's definitely getting the most damage, and he is setting up all that farm for himself, so being used as a mule, should we say, for that gold. But again, it's a great mule that they have, and it's a great mule to be abusing because it clearly works for AGHK to keep picking up at Dorenji, because let's face it, Dorenji is not a prio ban.
That's true. I think people would much rather ban out Arlie instead of banning out DRNG. There's another hover on my end and a possible lock in on Gan and Mo. I think it'll be okay, but the Mayan is definitely a good pickup here. Just you need someone to quite literally push Baron back if he does jump in with the Storm Strike as well as Electrify Charge. I think Mayin's Flee, Danger, and Get Serious will be able to help her a lot. But now let's see the last pick. Last pick for AGHK. First time we might be seeing a Yuan.
Like I say, no, they locked in this hero yesterday. So again, this was their first game of us actually seeing AGHK. They did pick up Hugh Huan yesterday, but it could still be considered as a different pick. But I feel like that is going to be locked in. The Lady of the Jungle that is not necessarily, was probably not meant by the devs to be a jungle, but she definitely fits that role very well. And with the likes of Dolia as well, paired up with that second ultimate, we could have she could have 2 times the airtime. She could be up flying on cloud 9 and come back down crashing all over Omega Nemesis. But Pegasus really wants that Gan and Mo to work. So far I am not convinced.
I think so, yeah, same here. I think it's not that he needs more time to get more damage. I think Ganon Mo is too immobile for fast-paced team fights like these, and fast-paced team fights is something that AJHK does want. But hey, maybe it's something that they need to work with. They're just looking for that sweet spot or that perfect moment to flex that, hey, the casters are wrong. Ganon Mo actually works with our lineup, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I really, hand on my heart, I really hope they manage to get this Ganamo working. And hopefully with taking the LAM away from AGHK. They can pull a little bit of the force off the accelerator that is AGHK right now, because their foot is full on the accelerator. Gas is being run through because they're currently running into this game 3 here against Omega Nemesis, picking up a little bit of a different pace of the jungler here. On the side of AGHK, we've gone for more of a mage, magic damage based orientated hero rather than LAM, with a we know is heavy rotation, very fast, very aggressive, in your face, pulling you away from your team and surrendering your life to the gods of AGHK right now. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the Dolia pairs with this Hwan anyway. So I'm very, very excited for game 3.
I stopped breathing for a bit because I thought Tom will be able to get the first blood. That was a very good Lunar recall, but after the stun, I think it was still too early to try and make any crazy plays from Arlie. And now Dahlia, Quinglin is near their ADC, which is the ENG. But in the mid lane, though, looks like there's another skirmish. Fights are happening all around. That will be the wave breaker being popped as well. Tom now in front, but he'll be able to jump right back. That's how quick and how slippery Arlie is. But the stun is going to be connecting onto Dahlia. No full-on commitments just yet. But now you have 919, as you've mentioned, very aggressive. Just saying hi and hello in the clash lane. I don't think they'll be trying anything just yet. But Tom did try something, but almost paid for that with his life. But he's A-okay.
He's A-okay in HoK, but still not respawning yet. He is looking to stick around and try and pick up a few of those passive heals from the Kayan here, but is it going to be enough to keep the Arlie alive? But again, taunting Aziz on the side of AGHK there, but still not going to be enough. It keeps the turret alive. It means that the pressure cannot be put on completely by AGHK taking that the first tier turret down in the farm lane. However, a lot of trading blows there onto Devil, Princess Frost in the mid lane, thanks to LAM and Ganmo using those couple of blades very long, using that great range on Gan and Mo. So I think if they can kind of just keep that distance that Gan and Mo requires, but also still managing to hit those couples blades, I think we could probably see this Gan and Mo for the 3rd time working. I mean, like the saying is, 3rd time's a charm.
Exactly, 3rd time's a charm, and hopefully, you know, we've been motivating Pegasus with this pick. Maybe they will be able to make it work. For now, I do see it working. They do get the damage in, and they were able to push Devil back. But now, speaking of Devil, he is here at the farm lane. A possible 3v2 if they do try something. Winter's here being popped as well, but now Tom will be there with the Maple Dance. No follow-up just yet. Pegasus does say hi, but AGHK says goodbye.
Yes, I think they managed to get out at the right time there, AGHK, because they don't quite have their jungler anywhere near, which I feel like would definitely topple the aggression the Omega Nemesis is trying to place onto AGHK here on the farm lane. But we can see that Byron and Hwan rotating around here, and unsuspected LAM could potentially get caught out. No, there's just not enough CC, there's not enough standstill to keep that slippery hero in place. But Omega Nemesis picking up that first blood, and it goes over to Kayan.
This could be the start. I mean, everything starts with one step, but now everything starts with one kill. But now the objective will also be secured by Myosotis. Yuan starting off very, very well as a jungler, but that's something you don't see every day. I mean, the roamer did get the kill.
Yes, it's beautifully executed there, but I feel like it was just because it was a mishmash of projectiles going towards AGHK there. The system was just kind of like, who should we give it to? You know what? Let's give it to MZK because we need to give an MVP support already. But Pegasus going to some absolutely great focus there onto Derenji, taking down Zaze on the side of AGHK. We saw that Dolia was very low as well, so no second ultimate here for Hwan going into this interaction, but well played by Omega Nemesis. They not only got the first tier turret up in the clash lane, they managed to pick up a second kill for themselves, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but AGHK generally play like this when they kind of don't want to go too aggressive or don't have the team comp to do it. They burn for very consistently, and then they burn right at the end. So we could just be seeing a calm before the storm from AGHK.
That's true. And hey, sometimes they say you have to fight fire with fire. There's no fire here just yet, but looks like Omega Nemesis is a team that is on fire right now. That's why they were able to turn things, well, not really turn things around, but secure the lead this early on. I'm still waiting though on what AGHK plans to do. The later the game is, the scarier Pegasus will be, as well as 919. And we don't want that if they do want to get that 3-0. Speaking of 919, he does get spotted out, gets hit by the Ode from Dahlia. And while I was talking, it looks like Tom was able to get one turret at the farm lane. Qingling does get potted out, and 919 trying to look for their next possible target. But remember, you still have Devil, no ultimate yet for this Princess Frost. They do get their hands on the bomb, letting the stun connecting, and there we go. 919 forced to back away. Now you have Snow at the front line, but it looks like they're gonna go with the juggle at the mid lane. They were able to scare their opponents. It's a fight that they do not want to take just yet. Winter's here has been used rather, and with that, 919 tries to jump in. I don't think that was a good decision though, because he does get taken out with Respect the Law, plus the basic attack coming out from Zace and AGHK. That was one kill, that was one turret, but still, I think it's a trade they will gladly get.
It is a trade, obviously, and that was a great mistake, like you called out there, Yuko, by 919, keeping a little bit too overextended away from his team. Even though Lamb is pretty impressive, I don't think going against AGHK, that impressiveness is going to carry you very far. But just reassessing AGHK's team comp here, they don't really have that aggressive roam that we've really been seeing in Game 2 and Game 1. So this is probably the reason why we're seeing Omega Nemesis actually pick up some kills here. And we're talking about picking up kills. They take down the Renji. It is another kill over to Pegasus. So once again, like you called, Yuko, we don't want to see that Pegasus get fed, because if we do, those couple blades are going to become very gruesome coming into this mid game by Omega Nemesis. And looking at AGHK's team comp, the only person they can really recall or rely on to take down that backline is Byron. But again, nothing being picked up here other than the enemy's Sage buff. But again, another small victory for Omega Nemesis.
They would take that, I agree. Freshly Forge being popped again, and Pegasus definitely a scary hero now. It's like they're listening to what we were saying. That was, you know, after 2 games, he finally got his groove on, and hopefully they get the snowball. And right on cue, they do get their hands on this objective. At least right now, they have 1K-ish gold. Hopefully, they will be able to take things a step further. I think they just need to have a good setup for Tom, or at least for Easy Babby on this Mayin. But right now, they are rotating over to the mid lane. AGHK now, they're looking for a possible opportunity. Could it be the objective? Could it be the pickoff? Could it be Qingling trying to, you know, push someone away? We don't know. But what we do know is we have Byron, we have Snow with still his immaculate positioning. It's just that they aren't really able to find any pickoffs just yet. And there you go. Mayin gets kill on to Princess Frost, and Mayin actually goes down. Kill going over to Snow. Now you have Couples Blade and Freshly Forge plus guard her Grave jumping in. Now you have 2K going over to Snow. Byron with the Storm Strike as well as Force Field Suppression connecting. Really good combo, plus they get one mid lane turret to beat. After all of those aggression, it looks like Omega Nemesis, they need to take a step back.
After that misstep there, we see that Snow has finally activated. Snow has thawed, and there is going to be a second covering of that beautiful white blanket, and it's clearly working here. A great double kill there for Byron in the mid lane, and they managed to pick up that mid lane turret as well. So now the Omega Nemesis' jungle is anybody's game. They can have free roam in there, but looking to be banished and punished is Snow. Ali takes down the Byron there in a 1v1. However, we do see that AGHK do pick up the Tyrant, so is that a fair trade? A life for a lifetime damage increase? I would say that goes to a victory for AGHK because they're picking up their second Tyrant of the match, meaning that these next few team fights are going to be a lot more aggressive. There's going to be much more power coming out on the side of AGHK.
Honestly, for me as well, I would take that trade any time of the day. I mean, my teammate, he or she will be back. But, you know, it's not every day that I get that extra damage boost. But for now, Omega Nemesis, they are looking for another objective. They do get their hands on it, but now AGHK looks like they finally wanted to pull the trigger. But Omega Nemesis, they're having none of that. We don't want to fight. We get it. You get the damage. We are still gonna raise the white flag for now and go back to the drawing board. Also, Snow is kind of scary. We don't want any more combos coming out from that Byron.
Yeah, if the minion wave can kind of just keep consistent down in the farm lane, as we've seen on the map there, the Vanguard is going to rock around anytime soon and put pressure onto that farm lane. But speaking of pressure onto Ganmo, falls by Snow once again. Lamb was put in place and frozen by Princess Frost, and Derenji banhammers the Cayenne as well. So the only two heroes left alive for a good 20 seconds is Ali and Mayeen, and we are looking at an aggressive takedown of this second tier turret in the mid lane whilst they wait for the minions to come. Are they just going to try and focus these two heroes in the mid lane to stop this mid lane assault from AGHK? Because if they lose their high ground turret here, it's almost that infamous 13-minute mark within HoK. But they are giving their best. It's a 2v4, and Ganmo is back. He is bounced off the ropes, and they do take down Qingling in that little interaction by Omega Nemesis.
Yeah, I take that very small victory, but I also want to mention the juggle that they did in the mid lane after the fight. They were each taking turret hits just so they can take down the mid lane turret. That was very crucial. And as you can see in this team fight, Devil was in a safe space. He was okay, was able to proc the Frozen Heart, I believe, the Frost's passive, get the shield, get all of those extra auto attacks. But for now, AGHK, they seemed very quiet earlier, but now I think it's finally game time. They love their damage, they love their prowess 10 minutes up into the game. However, I think at least this time around, Omega Nemesis, they're a lot more equipped, well-equipped for team fights. They were able to get Yuhuan, but Yuhuan, well, he's okay. He will get to live another day. No casualties, no damages just yet.
Yes, I think that was a safe retreat there from Omega Nemesis. We could have seen a takedown in that mid lane to the first tier turret from AGHK, but I think that would have come at cost of quite a few of the lives on the side of Omega Nemesis. So I think the retreat at that point in time was a very strategic retreat nonetheless. But just have a little quick overview on what's going on, who's in lead of what. Very, very slightly, we're actually seeing an Omega Nemesis gold lead for the first time in 3 games. It's not a huge leap. It has been broader throughout this game, number 3, but they are ahead by 400 gold, which isn't a lot. It's a few minion pickups. It's a kill. That's it. You're back in the lead, back on the saddle again for AGHK. But even in kills, the actual jungle objectives is even as well. However, there has been a lot more aggression priority on those turrets on the side of AGHK. So I feel like they are just going to play the macro game until they can pick off a great team fight and then just finish like we've been seeing for the past 2 games.
They really love their turret takedowns, right? Even in game number 1, I believe, which they managed to end very, very quickly. For now, let's see if will it be the same story, and the pause will be done. Let's get back to the action. I'm very, very excited to see what will happen next. The healing from Cayenne from MZK also is very good, very on point as well. he was able to help Omega Nemesis survive a handful of team fights or pickups. So just make sure MZK is safe, make sure that Pegasus is safe as well, just so they can have a lot of those damages. But Snow is being chased by almost the entire village, was able to pop in with all of those shields, but it's not going to be enough because God and Mo with the sword was able to draw blood. But now Qingling is here with the Wave Breaker plus the Ode. Mayo Sotis is here as well. A lot of resources were used on the Snow, but AGHK, they say, okay, they're running away. Let's just take a step back.
Yeah, looking to take this Shadow Overlord. Is it going to be a crucial kill theft there? No, we see that Kayan actually lands the finishing blow there onto the Shadow Tyrant, which is going to make this a tasty engage here for Omega Nemesis going in under the mid lane turret, taking another kill off the side of AGHK. Qingling goes down. Can they manage to secure the mid lane turret here for themselves? Because if this starts to open up, this could be the chink in the armor of AGHK. They've already lost the second tier turret down in the farm lane. They just need to give some TLC to that mid lane. They didn't, however, secure... Actually, no, they did. Ganmo secured that Sage buff as well. So, again, that's going to be a detriment to Myotosis as well. So, let's see what Omega Nemesis can do with those small victories. It's a series of small victories, which could be deadlier than one big victory.
I kind of felt bad because Easy Bobby had a good flea danger. It just so happened that number one, he was under turret, and number two, there's a lot of members from AGHK, so he paid for that with his life. But in an alternate universe, if Omega Nemesis was able to go with the follow-up, maybe they could have gotten the kill, but they got two members from AGHK. Very, very quick as well. That's going to be Winters here being popped as well, but Devil does get stunned. He is far away, beyond the turret even, but now Zace as well as Myosotis, they are at the front line. So much poke, so much damage, more enough, and actually enough for Omega Nemesis to rethink their game plan. You know what? Let's not fight. Let's just get this objective and get it over with.
Yeah, and now we pay attention to that goal difference. It's now slowly falling away from AGHK, but is it going to be a pipe dream away? Probably not. I feel like that they can still bring this back if they really wanted to, if they catch Omega Nemesis slip up again, but goes another second tier turret over to Omega Nemesis. That's those two side lanes being focused on heavily there. Lamb doesn't want to get caught out in that brush. We see that Byron is on standby, ready to activate. Snow can come in once we see some low health onto the side of Omega Nemesis, and we see him rock around. He is in. He is trying to pick off this Lamb with the help of his team, but 919 does escape once again. This Lamb is just a slippery guy.
A slippery guy indeed, but someone that makes all of that happen is actually MZK with the healing yet again. They were in a tight spot earlier, and Zace almost got the kill, but they were able to make their way into safety. Now they're just knocking onto the mid lane turret. Maybe they can get this because AGHK, they probably won't pick a fight just yet, unless... Okay, no. I was excited, but they decided to let this one go.
Yeah, let's not run away too fast yet, but it looks like that this could be a setup for Omega Nemesis here to try and finish. They have the Shadow Vanguards. That's going to put a lot of pressure onto these turrets, and rocking around is that Shadow Vanguard. He is not yet woken up. His babies have died, but he is rocking around, ready to go and disrupt some of these turrets as well. Could we see the first higher ground turret fall from AGHK in 3 games? Could we see a 2-1 victory so far? I think, just like you, Yuko, I am getting very excited at the prospect of Omega Nemesis winning Game 3.
Right? We love all of those comeback fights and them trying to tie the numbers, but sadly, the turret did not fall down, even with all of those leads and the gold lead. But while they were buying time, they got their hands on another objective, plus the buff. So I think Omega Nemesis now, they finally got their groove. This is something that they need. They just need a good initiate, maybe from 919 or from Pegasus, because Tom needs to be safe at the back line. They just don't. I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not go anywhere near Zace if his skills are all available. We saw that happen earlier. They almost paid for that with his life. But ADC things, right? That's how scary they are. Around 20 minutes. It's almost 19 minutes though. But now Omega Nemesis, they're the ones that's on the hunt. Waves are pretty even, Steven, but the only change I'm seeing right now is that AGHK, they're come together. They don't want those pickoffs just yet. They don't really want to risk anything. But Omega Nemesis, they have the luxury of trying, of maybe play with their food for a bit, you know, just get the buff. Let's see if they can try to go up against us. See if 919 can see anyone walking through the brush. But sadly, no one walked through. They are just this 5-hero hunting unit.
Yeah, it's definitely getting to that crucial 20-minute mark, which from any recollection of yesterday, we have not seen yet in the wildcard qualifiers. So this is peak times within HoK, within the wildcard qualifier, which just means that both of these teams deserve to go on, and they both qualified going into the regional finals as well. So I'm very proud of both of these teams, but I think it would be great mental for either of these teams to be placed first going into the regional finals, even though we don't know how that's going to get seeded quite yet into the regional finals, whether it puts them into a better place. Do they get to choose? We don't know yet. But again, another Shadow Overlord going onto the side of Omega Nemesis. We have the Shadow Vanguard there. Byron, once again, Snow is waiting for that backline activation. He is waiting to see some of those healths get run down on the side of Omega Nemesis before he decides to take charge, or even as they go and approach this higher ground turret. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do it. They are not taking that bait. Omega Nemesis have seen this song and dance before. They are not falling for it again.
There's finally a base onto the... There's finally a hole onto the base of AGHK, and looks like the major objective, first dibs, will go over to Omega Nemesis. Now they were able to spot the one. Snow taking so much damage. Queen actually the first one to say goodbye. Now you have Winters here, but the team is definitely not here. That's gonna be the stuns connecting, but there will be a 919 resurrecting. Snow does have all of those shields, was able to get 919 in a miraculous comeback. 4% was made possible by Snow. But still, it looks like AGHK, they have to let this one go because there is a wave of minions from the Clash lane. Good map awareness, but they trade such an important objective just to go back.
Yeah, I mean, that was like looking at this game in a retrospect, because they knew that Clash lane was being pushed by the Vanguard. Look at that crystal. It is very low, and they did lose a 1-1 trade there, but they knew that AGHK had to go back or they would lose game 3. But it also meant that that jungle objective there was able to be picked up and procured by Omega Nemesis. Again, this is going to be another wave of Vanguards coming through to put a load of pressure on all 3 lanes as well. So again, well played to Omega Nemesis. Is this going to be the calling card? Is this the closing of game 3? Finally, we are getting into that 22-minute mark, which we have not seen yet within the wildcard.
Welcome to the late game, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by GrandFinals, game number 3 nonetheless. But now you have Omega Nemesis knocking again onto AGHK's base. Mid lane turret might fall down sometime soon, so let's see if they'll be able to defend that. But I have to say, they are holding on to dear life. Is there a different 1v1 fight somewhere there in the pit? Because Snow on this Byron actually tried to pick someone off, but he paid for that with his life. The kill went over to R. Lee, the ADC for Omega Nemesis. Now it's a 4v5 fight. Numbers are favoring the men in the blue, but with that, they're going to be jumping in, just flashes in and out. That will be Easy Bobby trying to get their hands on Mayu Sotis. Might be able to get Yuhuan, but Yuhuan does pop out with the ultimate. Stuns are going to come through. Tom was able to push them back, but with that, you also have Queen Lin taken down by Easy Bobby, and the Crystal gets taken down. That will be a 2-1, and it looks like Omega Nemesis, they finally got their first victory.
First victory indeed. I mean, it's slowly going towards that score that you did predict, Yuko. So a 2-1 from Omega Nemesis, and there was that game closing mechanic that is the Tempest Dragon. We saw it in full effect. I'm pretty sure that's been the first time I've seen it since one of the other splits. I believe it was in the Turkish split where we saw the Tempest Dragon for the first time. I think it was BJK against Sengal or something, but there we have it. We're having it in the grand finals against a team like AGHK. So when they don't get that Lamb, when they don't get the Guan Yu, the Elaine, those heavy rotation heroes in their team comp, is this the weakness that Omega Nemesis just have to expose and keep exposing to get that victory overall?
I'm gonna say yes, because they were very good in this game number 3. But another factor I think is the jungle pick. Now, Yuhuan is good, okay, as a hero, but I feel like compared to the games that we saw from Myosotis, Yuhuan jungle has a different pacing. And even though he was able to sustain and save himself multiple times, it's very different from picking up a Lamb, let's say, and, you know, pair it up with a Cayenne, which is the thing that Omega Nemesis did. 919 was really good and scary on this Lamb as well. So I think one of the things that AGHK could do is, I don't think they're gonna ban Lamb though, take Lamb, or maybe take Cayenne, or take both, because you mentioned this combo earlier before we hopped into game number 3, and we've seen the combo work. Here are the post-game team stats as well. Let's take a look at, I'm actually looking at Tom. Okay, he was 3-0-4. Arlie wasn't too crazy, but they were able to make things work. All the projectiles were pushed back, and they made a lot of things happen for their side. And here are the team percentages. I have to say, Gon and Mo, Pegasus, this is a better game for him compared to game 1 and 2.
Yes, we were waiting for the activation of the Gan and Mo, and we definitely got it there. And I'm pretty sure because AGHK didn't win, there is no way in hell that MVP can go to Snow. So I think it's time for the Snow to have a bit of a break there and give some moments to shine for a player on the side of Omega Nemesis. But to be honest, I think it might go to MZK, but no, we give it to Pegasus, the guy that didn't quite manage to get the Ganamo in game 2 and 1, but game 3, like I said, third time's a charm for Omega Nemesis.
Yeah, Pegasus definitely went online in this game. I love it. You know, to be fair, when I said 4-2, I didn't say who I think was gonna win, right? So I think I'm still safe. You can caster curse a series if you haven't mentioned any teams. But for now, we're gonna hop into a very short break, and when we come back, we're gonna jump into game number 4.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, watching everywhere in the world right now, which is not going to be a straightforward 4-0 in this Honor of Kings Open Series Split 1 within the Wildcard region. Who would have thought? Not me. I'm Blam, and with me is Yuko. How are we feeling going into what we perceived Game 4 may have been the last game, but it's not. This is only the start again.
I'm actually very happy because, like what you said, we won't be seeing a 4-0. That means the matchup is very close. Maybe Omega Nemesis just needed, to be able to scale. But looking at the bans right now, Lam does get taken out, and you also have a Haino, and Mai will still not be visible in the game. Oh, Zhou Yu. We did not see him so far in the series, in the grand finals, but he is quite a strong hero as well. Maybe they know something. Maybe they think AGHK will bring out this hero.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you just pick out on a whim. I mean, we did see Star Wars Esports actually pick up the Shou as well in one of their games in their grand finals and win with it as well. It is a great pick in the mid lane. It has a lot of oppressive traits on there with the wind and fire mechanic. However, the lady that teleports, brings you away and brings you back is being highlighted once again. Oh, with the Fuzi combo as well. The biggest synergized combo between these two heroes are coming out to play for Omega Nemesis. This just got spicy.
I agree. It almost feels like this is a different series, okay? I mean, hello, Dakiao has been banned multiple days now, but finally she made it into the game, plus a Fuzi, like what you did mention. But now you have Dharma, the first pick for AGHK side, Angela and Arlie being hovered right now, and will probably be locked in. Yeah, so Dakiao, she obviously has a lot of help on her kit with the Whirlpool Gate and Bridge of Severance. I believe that was the third skill. But I think one of the ways to counter her is to really just take her down. There's no other way. And make sure that she doesn't have Sea of Fate to bail her out of there. But another hero that was banned multiple times in multiple days was Pei. But now he's open as well. What is happening? Omega Nemesis, they have so much surprises in game number 4.
I'm here for it. It is keeping me here for it. As like you said, all these heroes, all these lush, very flashy heroes like the Pei, like Fuzi as well. I mean, Fuzi, regardless, never gets banned because it has to be locked in with the Chow. If it's not, then you're not going to get Fuzi come through. But the likes of Pei, sorry, is always considered, especially within the Brazilian region. So it's really nice to see Omega Nemesis picking up homage towards the Brazilian region there. Again, going for something a little bit safer on the side of AGHK. There is the Angela and the Arlie. Arlie was a fantastic part for Omega Nemesis in the last game, and it's put in Derenji on the bench. Derenji's had to sit down. He has now become a bench warmer in game 4.
Right? So I think that's something new. They banned out Princess Frost. We still have Lady Zen. So I'm gonna say it, okay? The 4 picks from Omega Nemesis are picks that they didn't really show in game 1, 2, and 3. So again, this is them showing us a different combo. This is them going all in, I believe. And now you also have the hover over on Lian Po. Well, a very consistent roamer, actually. Jing might get locked in as well. I would love to see her, though. She's very difficult to use, but then again, I'm not really a good mobile player. That's why I'm a caster. I'm very passionate about speaking. So probably AGHK will find a fix to that.
Yeah, no, quite a few flashy heroes on the side of AGHK there as well. So we get Jing coming through for the first time. Obviously, we've got the likes of Dharma as well. Arlie, if you don't know where her umbrella is going to land, will you even know where she is going? So I think having the likes of the Arlie, having a staple hero like the Liempo, so that's going to be the focal point for those team engages by AGHK. And then you got the likes of Angela just sitting and chilling at the back there, just literally spamming those abilities over and getting those enhanced damages the more they land. So, and again, last pick for Omega Nemesis is the Mayeen from last game. So the only familiar face is the Mayeen in this fourth race, it seems. I'm very excited to see a whole new team comp come from the side of Omega Nemesis and a few changes going on with AGHK. It's kind of like they're pulling out all these stops now. They want these flashy, entertaining gameplays that we are all here for.
Man, and I'm so excited. So okay, I'm gonna go full geekon mode, okay? So Jinx's passive is called Mirror Image, which basically gives her a clone for like 2 seconds, but doesn't have full damage. I think the clone only has 30 or 35% of her damage. But the main point is, sometimes it's confusing in a fight, okay? The clone is kind of transparent, but you don't really know where to look at. But looks like AGHK, they know where to look at now that they're making their way into the mid lane here. But of course, you also have MZK now on the Dakya with the... Ooh, they picked up Bridge of Severance first, not Leaping Tide. I guess it's for longer range and more control in the early game. And well, it's a diagonal bridge here. But yeah, I won't be expecting any early game pickoffs though. Maybe more around the 8 or 9 minute mark because they need to lock in their ultimates. They need to lock in their ultimates first, and they need Dakyao, Dakyao's Whirlpool Gate before they can make anything happen.
Yeah, and the same with the Fuzi as well, because if you try Fuzi going against a ranged hero like Ali, it's going to be hard, because if you miss his pull in, you don't have his lockdown, you're pretty much going to be rendered useless there, going in on a 1v1, or even trying to take down a hero like Ali or Jing in these team fights. So again, like you were saying, very rightly so, Yuko, is they are going to wait till all these ultimates are active and online, and that's when we're going to see these fruitful team fights between AGHK and Omega Nemesis. But as right now, AGHK have a little gold lead, not a lot, but it's currently looking like a completely different tempoed match here because there's a lot of rotation, there's not a lot of sticking in lanes, and I'm all here for it.
I know it's like they're on an adventure. There's no one staying in their lanes, and they really want to see if someone, will get caught off guard. But so far, none at the moment. Both teams are being very careful, except, Zace, because he's just stuck to his lane. Normal ADC things. We'll be up against a Fuzi, by the way. Yeah, I also want to say that I think this was in the CN region. They use Clash laners for the farm lane. That's why we see Fuzi at the farm lane. Some players might find that weird, but I've seen it in the region. They make it work, probably because they're better players than me, but it makes sense. They just need to push it to the late game, right?
Absolutely, just keep hammering it and make it work. And I feel like after Omega Nemesis's last game and last performance, I think that they can make this work. Having no range in the farm lane is not going to fault them at all, because they have the likes of the Lady Shen as well. So they have that bouncing orb of iceness as well that can freeze the enemies on the third hit. She has that fantastic ultimate that if there is an engage, that AoE that just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting, and then freeze is going to be vital for Omega Nemesis. But speaking of vital, the vital first blood has been spilled by Jing, and they do pick up the kill over onto Pei.
I want to see what happened. Okay, so was able to pop in with the reflection fragmentation, and I think 919 just had no way to escape that. That's it. It was a possible 1v3. You pick your poison at that point. But again, it's still the early game. But that means AGHK, they were able to draw first blood, and maybe this sets the tempo for their team. Earlier, I did say that Myosotis needs to go back with these aggressive junglers, and it's like he listened to me. They pick up Jing, which is a new hero as well. But for now, that will be Magma Slam connecting onto 2. And right on cue, the objective has been secured by Myosotis.
Yep, Coach Yuko for Team AGHK when is yet to be seen, but yeah, they definitely listen to you there, picking up that Jing pick, and it has played off already very well for them as they go for a second assault here onto Lady Shen and Pei, but it's not going to come across as anything. They're just going to clear that minion wave, give up a bit more gold to Meiosis.
You got this.
That is this. I've got this. I've got this. I can say scientific words. I promise. I'm British. But looking at that and completely disregard my verbal dyslexia there, we still have quite a lot going on in this game. So still, no more blood has been shed here by either side. So unlike last game, Omega Nemesis didn't get the first blood. We saw Jing get the first blood up in the clash lane against Bei, almost getting another one there in the mid lane, but still just playing it a little bit safe, but not too safe that it's going to lead for another 2-2 victory here for Omega Nemesis just yet.
Exactly. I'm looking at the gold. The lead isn't really that much. Wait. Okay, I thought they were gonna go with a sneaky play, but anyway, that will be Lian Po, Qingling jumping in. You also have the Maple Dance being popped by Zaze just to push the possible projectiles. I like the rotation so far as much as possible. They try to put 3 heroes in the mid lane, see if they can catch someone and then say goodbye. But someone that might say goodbye is actually Fuzi on the, rather Tom on this Fuzi, and they were able to pick up the kill they were able to get that kill as well. So 2-0 now on the board, and AGHK, this is like game 2 all over again.
Yes, it's feeling very familiar. It's a familiar face, but with a different scent. They are wearing a different cologne this time around AGHK, but it's clearly got the scent of kill in their grasp as they pick up Pei under that second tier turret from Omega Nemesis. Once again, Mayin was backflipping in there, then thought, you know what, I'm going to take a chill pill before I get taken down or re-engaged back on by Lian Po. But again, AGHK still not dropped a death yet in this 6-minute match going into the 7-minute mark. It's almost going into that mid-game 10-minute mark.
It's like they're pushing the timelines, you know, just so they can maybe push their lead in further. But I have to say, so far for Devil, those blazes were definitely brilliant. On that blazing brilliance for Angela, they were able to just draw all these surprise, not really pickoffs, but surprise damages that will just force Omega Nemesis to take a step back. Clash lane, though, I thought we might see a 1v1, but instead here at the farm lane, Tom gets spot out. You have Jing again with the reflection fragmentation, but now Meiosis jumping in. They don't really care. Pegasus jumping in. That's gonna be the kill going over to actually Mayin. Crucial cow control being popped, are actually going over to MZK. But now that will be 2K. 2 kills going over to Devil. Deadly Reflection flashed onto Meiosis, and Pei was able to pick something up for himself. Now it's 6-2 under 8 minutes. Meiosis again very, very low in the mid lane, but Devil decides to brave through the front line. That will be the Chaos Cinders being popped, but 919 is still A-OK.
A-OK, but that was a 3-2 trade for AGHK. As we saw that the Chow mechanic come through there, it kind of had a little bit of succession there, but it didn't quite go into the positive outcome that we hoped for Omega Nemesis. Yes, they got some kills on the board there. The Giant does bleed, but they just need to make away with that small victory now and just kind of claim onto it. But I don't think Jing's going to allow MZK out of that one alive. And the same with Tom. It is a double kill for Ali. So Zay's picking up some nice bit of gold there, a little bit of XP, but obviously that gold is more important because we are going to get some more items onto the Ali a lot quicker, which means that AGHK are going to have that fantastic damage, that knockout of the safe zone of the first tier turret as well from Dharma was chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss indeed. The 2 bunnies from AGHK side, they're scary, okay? They have so much damage, they have so much control, and I think that's something that they did expect, you know, 919 pick him off and everything will work so well for you. Snow on this Dharma doesn't have much kills yet, or we weren't able to see the usual scary Snow in the early game, but he lands those stuns, was able to, you know, really control the opponent. I think all of those true word formlessness demo, I think, for the first skill. But speaking of skills, that will be Mayo Sotis trying to skill this one out, and the killing spree going over to Mayo Sotis with the help of Angela's Blazing Brilliance.
Yes, the brilliance is brilliant there, and it's working very well. As we always comment on that Angela pick, it is a simple hero to master, but when you perfect those timings with the skills, even though, again, these combos are not very hard to hit, and the mechanics of this hero is not quite hard to understand, but put into the hands of a pro, it is played completely differently at a different kind of tier. And we see Jing pick up the first Shadow Tyrant there, as we see Omega Nemesis looking to start on the Shadow Overlord, but don't quite get that finish there. We're hoping for some sort of recall Hail Mary play there from DeChao, but shut down by Jing with a double kill on the side of AGHK.
See, that's what happens when they have shard split, okay? The shards and the glasses definitely hurt a lot, but now I think this is the AGHK we saw in game 1 and 2. They're finally back in their form, and they're looking into pushing further. 12-2. Whoa. He did not even let Pegasus do anything. No CC, no anything. Mayo Sotis jumped in, got the kill, and said, okay, thank you, bye.
Yeah, absolutely. I just didn't even know what happened there myself. It was just kind of like a blink, and down goes Lady Shen there, and they're at the higher ground turret, and it's before that infamous 13 minutes as well. So AGHK have really upped the ante in this game 4. They did not want that. They wanted the perfect score, but they didn't quite get it in game 3. So they're now having to basically say, you know what? We're not going to get that 4-0, but we're not going to let you ultimately get that victory overall, because they've played, again, just a whole different cut. A whole different breed of AGHK has come through and shined here, as it is going on right now in that farm lane. Picking up the kill onto MZK as Tom manages to get her there. It was DaChao's dying wish to keep Tom alive. Unfortunately, that dying wish is going to keep the same for Pei, but they pay back Pei's death there onto Jing, and Jing falls. It's a nice one trade there for Omega Nemesis, but again, these are just small victories, and are they going to pay any dividends at this point in the game?
That is a question, because as you said that, the minion waves are pushing in towards the farm lane and the mid lane for Omega Nemesis side. I have to say, though, that was a very good I think true word salvation demo from Snow earlier. Get the stuns in, pick someone off, preferably the jungler and, you know, anyone that dishes out damage, and they were able to snowball, even though looks like Mayo Sotis had to die in order to make things even. But at least right now you have Zaze having first dibs on the objective, while the other members of Omega Nemesis are lurking at the side. Dakiao's ultimate is available, but looks like Qingling was able to spot a handful of opponents here and there. Here comes Snow again, but he was so scary that 919 had to jump into Tiger form just to run away.
Absolutely. Last game we saw the British equivalent of Snow, and this time around we are seeing the ferocious Canadian Snow. It is heavy, it is hitting hard, and it is beating Omega Nemesis so far here. The Dharma has been a little bit of a chilled play, but it's still showing that Snow knows what he's doing with this hero. And to say it again, the flashy hero that is Jing, not even picking up the kill. Dharma comes in, Snow takes up some more frostbitten victims on the side of Omega Nemesis. Can they claim a second high ground turret? Yes, they can. Liam Po goes straight in there with the Vanguard, picking up that high ground turret in the farm lane, and it could potentially be a 3-for-3 high ground turret go down for Omega Nemesis, and we've seen them in this situation before. Their backs are against the wall. They have no more ground zero. It is just the Crystal alive. Liempo with a great 3-man knock up there, and then Jing mopping up on aisle 0 there as they beat down the Crystal in game 4, taking it to 3-1 victory so far to AGHK.
Tremor Smash, Reflection Fragmentation, as well as Blazing Brilliance. That was a deadly combo. I will not be surprised why they were able to end that game. That was immaculate layering of CC as well as control coming out from AJHK. It looks like they really don't want my predictions to be correct, but I respect the hustle. You want to be able to have an amazing grand finals, get as much wins as you can, but that was quite the game. Even though we were excited about the new draft from Omega Nemesis, it seems like what works will still work for the side of AGHK, even though they brought out Jing, which was so effective, by the way. I will stand by what I've said during game number 3. Mayo Sotis, give him a jungler that has all these flashy plays, and he will deliver. I think this was the first time we saw a Jing in this qualifiers. Mayo Sotis definitely did not disappoint.
Absolutely. As soon as we knew that Jing was getting locked in, we knew what we was actually going to see here on the side of AGHK, because it's what we've been sort of hoping for ever since yesterday. We was hoping some flashy jungle picks, but they've saved it for the last bit, and I think that's rightfully so, because it's kind of just going to allude to what the teams going into the regional finals are going to see. And I mean, Omega Nemesis could come back and face AGHK in the finals, because after seeing Omega Nemesis play against AGHK like this, I think they're going to prove such a challenge for the rest of the teams in the regional finals. I'm very excited to see what Omega Nemesis brings to this LAN. I will keeping my eye on them very closely, because if you can take a win off AGHK, which I would say I have pretty much been saying in the back of my mind this whole time is that they are going to win this entire open series, I'm very proud of them. I think they can go a very long way, and this is just the beginning for Omega Nemesis.
Agreed. They just probably need to polish a few more things, but if you manage to get one game, there's nothing stopping you from getting 2 and maybe 7 more games. I don't know. But here are the team stats for that game number 4. Definitely, okay, too early to say because this is a best of 7, but I think this is my favorite game. You have a crazy draft coming out from Omega Nemesis, immaculate execution on AGHK's own draft, and we see a Jing. I love seeing these flashy Jing plays. On top of that, we even saw Dakiao. No intense or no amazing Whirlpool gate plays though, but hey, understandable. Dakiao was targeted multiple times, which is kind of sad because there was an Angela, but they made it work.
Absolutely. When you go and pick a hero like the Chao, you kind of already put a massive target on the back of yourself and your team, because you know that is going to be the main target before you go and attack anybody else within these team fights. And let's see who picks up the MVP, and I think it rightly goes to the guy that really makes me struggle with my English, Mayo Sotis there, and I managed to land it. Thank you very much, MVP Mayo Sotis, getting that 89k, getting fantastic, phenomenal kills there by Jing, and I think as soon as that was drafted, we knew what was going to happen.
I feel like he needs to get the MVP title before we can pronounce his IGN. So that is a high demand for Mayo Sotis. But yeah, no other questions, honestly. We saw how amazing he was able to draw first blood, and was able to keep Pei at bay. Honestly, I had so much high expectations for Pei because in my region, at least in the Philippines, Pei gets picked up a lot, and usually it's the fact that he needs to secure a lot of objectives and kills in the early game. He rotates very quickly, but he was not able to do that in this game because, I mean, there's a pretty lady jumping in and out. It's kind of distracting, but that was an amazing game number 4. What are your last thoughts for that?
Last thoughts was that, again, flashy picks, but I hope to see even more continue into Game 5, but that will take place after this short break, so make sure you don't go anywhere. Welcome back to what could potentially be the last match within this Grand Finals of the Open Series Wildcard Qualifier. Again, after that breathtaking last team comp from both of those teams, I am Blam, and with me is Yuko for potentially the last game of the night. So how are we feeling going into what could potentially be this last game, looking at these bans and picks already?
I'm honestly excited because it's safe to say that momentum is definitely on AGHK's side because of how intense the previous game was. I am curious on what draft Omega Nemesis will pull out because I feel like the draft we saw in game number 4, that's probably one of their, not to make a pun, but their wild card. Sadly, was not able to get them the victory. We do see another hover on Lady Zendo. I feel like they might lock in DRNG, but they might prio wait, no, you're not gonna pick up 2 Clash Laners, right? Fang! Hello! Welcome to Honor of Kings here in the Open Series, as well as DRNG. So, safe to say this will be a jungle Fang because we don't really see a jungle DRNG or a jungle Dahlia. If we're gonna see that, I'm gonna lose my mind. But moving on to the red team side, nothing too different. We have an Arlie, we have a Zhangfei, we also have a hover on Mayin here. Probably a lock in because of how much control Mayin has, and they do lock that in. Now let's move on to the second phase of banning. No Clash Laners yet for Omega Nemesis' side.
Absolutely. It's looking like a little different gravy pot here. We're seeing a few familiar faces being picked up once again. Zhang Fei obviously retired after the second game, I think it was, going back over to AGHK here. So Qing Lin going from a fantastic Liampo game from the last game, and we're seeing him now being taken on the role of the beast here with the unbridled rage, which is going to be fantastic for pushing away the enemy team, but also getting to that back line as well, being very sustainable as a support hero. But then we're looking at those second ban phases there. So Dun gets banned. So again, I think that's another just a little bit of a tip of the hat to we know what could be coming here. So we're going to ban out your Dun hero. So you haven't got a tanky jungle, but there could still be some tanky jungles that they may pick up going forward. We could still see Atta. Kaiser is now being banned away. They know what they're doing. AGHK has the skill of foresight. They know what's coming, and this makes me very scared for Omega Nemesis.
Same. It's like they were able to predict it, right? I'm happy that Fang is here solely because of the passive going undercover. It gives vision. So if they do plan to put this Fang on the jungle, he will be able to rotate and give information or vision. I totally understand the Angela ban. I mean, what? It's been 5 games already at this point, and that Angela was definitely a problem all throughout. Now we have a hover on Gun and Mo. Ooh, AGHK gonna show us how to use Gun and Mo this time around because we saw Pegasus utilizing that hero, but they switched over to Princess Frost, which I think is a safer bet, honestly. Never gonna get tired of saying Winter is here. It provides a lot of CC. That's what, 4 to 6 seconds of complete CC slows and catching opponents off guard. Won't be surprised if they do maximize that even in the early game. A lane being hovered over. Still a pretty strong pick. Might as well pick that up. And now you also have Gun and Mo hovered for Omega Nemesis. Will Pegasus finally get his Gun and Mo again?
Absolutely. This is the thing that's really exciting me, is because everybody that jumps into my stream knows that I love Fang. Fang is one of my all-time favorite heroes, just from aesthetic to deadliness and to how fun that hero is. So I'm very, very excited to see Omega Nemesis pick him up. I just hope they do him justice. He's my furry little guy with a very big shuriken. Please do him justice. But as we look over to AGHK, I mean, between Omega Nemesis and AGHK, we've got pretty much all the seasons on lockdown. We've got Winter's coming, we've got Autumn Dance, and we've got Death on Sunset. I mean, they're covering all these big bases here, and again locking in into the last little bit of AGHK, sorry. Team comp is Musashi, another jungle hero we haven't seen for a while, but saw quite a lot yesterday. So I'm very excited to see AGHK pick up the Musashi again.
Yeah, let's see how well they'll be able to use this hero. Now, totally a random trivia. So as you know, I say a lot of hero skills, right? Especially when I do play-by-play. There is one ultimate I have a hard time saying, and that is actually Mai's ultimate because it's Shohisatsu Shinobi Bachi. So that's long. I feel like if
It
I
is.
say it, the clash is already done. So I won't be able to say anything else.
Absolutely. I think we should just have an unwritten rule there, Yuko, that we just don't say it. We just go, ooh, pretty ultimate from Mai.
Right?
And just save us both the embarrassment, because if you can't say it, I definitely cannot say it. I mean, I struggle to say myotosis, but again, I'm getting better there as every time I say it, and even though I butcher it, but we are getting into game number 5, which could be the last round of it all. Can Omega Nemesis bring it back with this Fang pick, with the Mai Shiranui, or is it going to be a takeover with the Ali, with the Main, with the Musashi? Winter is coming.
Winter's definitely coming here, and it's funny because there's also snow on the opponent's side. Well, on their side, because Devil is using Princess Frost right now. A lot of everyone is probably setting up a party there towards the clash lane. They probably have their eyes set on Easy Bobby. Elaine is very vulnerable in the early game. I mean, as long as he doesn't have Moonlight Flash yet, but I haven't checked it yet. But now 9. See, here's the thing. Fang is, with all due respect, I love this hero. He's completely useless as a jungler in the early game. So I'm expecting Omega Nemesis to just, you know, chill and avoid team fights. Maybe they will give the place to Pegasus. The reason why they placed Mai on the mid lane is because Mai in the early game is crazy. So I think it evens out the lack of damage and response from 919 here. But Tom took quite the damage. Thankfully, you have MZK with the Wave Breaker and the heal, so he gets to live another day.
Yes, it's all about procting that first ability on Fang there that can really do some damage in the early game or even into the late game. Can be very fatal in the late game, but in the early game it can mean the difference of you thinking that you're safe, but then all of a sudden that pops. But it doesn't just pop on the enemy heroes, it can be used on turrets, which in my solo queue games, I use as a fantastic pushing force to give macro plays to your team and just completely decimate those turrets as you proc your first ability, second activation on any target you wish. But again, like you say, Fang's a little bit useless in the early game, and the fact that Elaine isn't necessarily the most tanky hero in the clash lane, which could be paired with the Fang. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually sustain the likes of the Zhongfei, the likes of the Musashi as well, whilst also taking a lot of damage from the Mayin, the Princess Frost, and the Ali. So again, first blood going over to AGHK. There's the Mayin we was just speaking about. How do you counter a lady that runs so fast you can see multiple of her?
I think you just have to, you know, hope for the best. I think that was a very good whatever from Mayin. Now looking at the farm lane, multiple times, I like the control from Zace here, okay? I think he was spamming really the basic attacks as well as the Maple Dance to make sure that Tom has low health during the early game. Doesn't want to be able to farm or push, and they just wait for Qingling to rotate over to the farm lane and look for a possible pickoff. Although Tom, being very disciplined, and again, DRNG with his escape mechanic, lives multiple times, I think it's still difficult as an ADC if you can't farm in the early game. What else can you do, right?
Absolutely. I know one thing that AGHK are doing, and it's looking to take that Tyrant early doors, and they have. There is no contest. There is no time for Omega Nemesis to even answer that call of the early takedown of that jungle objective. But again, if we had the likes of Fang trying to go in there, he probably could have used his first ability, rolled in with his second, and then hope that the damage over time just steals that Tyrant. But again, he's looking to focus and make priority of this blue buff, which is probably rightfully so here for Fang before even trying to take the Overlord, which it seems Musashi and Zhang Fei are heading that way in the map.
And now, speaking of the map, actually, it's quite quiet after the first blood that has been drawn by AGHK again. Now, that was already Wheel Away being used by 919. At the very least, he does have Blade Storm available, but here comes Easy Babby with the attempt with all of those slashes and the combos. That was Meteor Kill, Moonlight Flash, but still was not able to secure a takedown. But someone that might secure a takedown is Zace, but Psych, he decided to jump right back, to recall back to where he came from. Now at the mid lane, you have Pegasus, I think, yeah, was able to throw in with the Kachosen, but was not able to connect, so they're not actually gonna try and pull off anything funny. But someone that did try to do something funny was Qingling, decides to jump in with the flank, but here comes MZK with the Ode. They are on their turret, but as I was yelling about the happenings in the mid lane, Tom was able to get one turret from the farm lane.
Yeah, you disregarded Tom. He did all that macro to not even be noticed by you, Yuku. How dare you? But no, well played to Omega Nemesis doing the macro work, because honestly, I think it's their way in to keep this game going in their motion, because currently right now, the team fights are heavily in the favor of AGHK currently because of the amount of knockups, the Zhang Fei as well, having the lack of tank, but Ali then falls victim to the Dolia, so Fang not picking up the kill, but doing majority of that damage there onto the Ali is going to be a upset into the next few interactions between these two teams. As a lane goes in, Devil drops, the winter is coming, Sunset, death on Sunset completely evaporates the winter there as they pick up the kill onto Princess Frost as well. So well played to Omega Nemesis. They are keeping the horse in this race without the Guan Yu on their team.
Agreed. Good juggle from Omega Nemesis indeed. They're taking this one very slow, but okay, that's not very slow. That's very aggressive, and I think that's what AGHK actually wants. Now you have all the shields coming up, but the kill will still go over to Easy Babby. Was able to take one, was able to take down Mayin, honestly. Now you have the Ode as well, connecting, and there's 2 more kills being picked up by Omega Nemesis, plus the wave. So it looks like they are also able to get a Clash Lane turret, and seems like Devil was not able to save that tower.
Yeah, I mean, I've only just noticed. I mean, forgive me for the late time, but I've only just noticed that the Renji's actually gone over to Omega Nemesis for the first time, and it's doing very, very well. Tom is playing this hero with great pizzazz. He is definitely showing Zaze that not only can he play the Renji well, but Tom is definitely playing a macro playstyle with this Renji to also not only get up the gold, but also picking up these kills left, right, and center. He's now currently rocking both the red and blue buff because he took down Musashi there. And it's now because of that Omega Nemesis overall are ahead in gold.
Exactly. Just make sure that you get to shut down Musashi. Easy Babby, I think that was in too deep, but it doesn't matter because he was still able to make it out of there alive. That'll be the Blade Storm being popped by Fang. No one died there just yet, but I think that was just the setup coming in for the side of Omega Nemesis. Now they do get first dibs on this very important objective, but it looks like AGHK, you know what? Let's just take something else. Let's rotate over and let our opponents get that. Maybe win a team fight, but Qingling was able to spot out 1-2 members from their opponent's side. Now you have Mayo Sotis at the back line. Do have his eyes set on either 919 or maybe even MZK, but here Winter is definitely here. That's gonna be Musashi jumping in with the Niten Ichiryu. Also was able to answer back for the side of Omega Nemesis. They do get 2 kills. Actually make that 3 because that is 2K going over to Tom. The BAs hurt so much, and as well as the Imperial Order. So that was a 1-3 trade, but in favor of Omega Nemesis.
Yeah, this Fang and Durenji combo is definitely hitting hard here, and it's looking like they're trying to set up a mid-game finisher. And we see this time and time again, especially within global scene, is that if you have a Durenji, you kind of want to be finishing around about that 15-minute mark, because if you don't, that's when the enemy team kind of scale towards the late game, and then they have everything in their kit to pick off that Durenji, and at that point, you've been putting all your resources into Durenji, as we can see there that Fang and Durenji are currently neck and neck in the gold themselves, whereas Elaine is only a little bit behind with that 100 gold there. So if we see a 15-minute match finisher by the side of Omega Nemesis, I think we could see another game rocking through here. Or if we see AGHK manage to keep them going all the way to that 20-minute mark, we could see a late game finish for AGHK. But currently right now, that Durenji and Fang combo is hitting hard.
It is. And even though we know that the lineup for AGHK screams late game, I wouldn't want to go up against a late game Elaine, a late game Fang, and a late game Durenji. So I would take my chances and try to be aggressive in the early game. But hey, maybe AGHK has their very own answer to that. If Musashi catches someone, if Zace catches someone, or if someone catches 919. I mean, that was Myosotis having his eyes on Fang, but thankfully Fang was able to get out of there alive. Now AGHK, they have first dibs on the objective. Pegasus will be able to pop out with the Kacho-sen. Vision given already for the side of Omega Nemesis. Shut down! Going over to Myosotis though. No ADC for 27 seconds. Maybe no jungler as well because the sun will be connecting. That was a very well-timed extreme speed from Musashi. Now moving over to the mid lane. The waves has been pushed. Now objective might be secured non-contested for AGHK. Red team now on fire.
Yeah, they definitely got baited by that Shadow Tyrant there, unfortunately, for the side of Omega Nemesis. We saw that AGHK was going for it, but they knew that Omega Nemesis was going to take that bait, and unfortunately, Durenji led the run there for his team, and it's not the positioning you want that Durenji to be in. He's not quite the sustainable hero you think he is. Some people generally build a tankier item towards the later part of his build, but he doesn't quite yet have that in his within his utility right now. So it's not quite the place you want to be putting Durenji in the front of the queue when you're going into a team fight, especially against a Zhongfei and a Musashi as well. But well played to AGHK by taking out the Durenji, getting the Shadow Tyrant, and the rest could be history now. This could have been the mistake that the AGHK was waiting for Omega Nemesis to pick up, but they're not giving up just yet. They are still in the game. Omega Nemesis are still just trying to whittle down the halves of AGHK, whilst we see Durenji still farming in that mid lane.
Agreed. They are just taking their time. Well, Durenji, or Tom, is just taking his time, but someone that's not taking his time is actually Zace. They do have their eyes set on Easy Bobby. Yeah, the umbrella is starting to hurt now, kind of like that one moment in the anime Another. But looks like Zace was able to play this one out quickly. They are already beyond the third even. CC Immune is not going to be enough because that will be Myosotis jumping in with a kill. Now on the killing spree, they even have the minion wave. And as I say that, Snow gets a pick off onto Easy Bobby, onto 919 rather. No more Fang, and the turret will be falling down. Winter's here has been popped, but they're at the front line. That will be the initiate coming in from Quing Lin. Let's see if the unbridled outburst will be enough, but with a double kill, that will be the victory going over to AGHK. They had quite the early game. They were very careful, but all they needed were 2 good team fights, and they finally bagged the championship.
Yep, unfortunately. I mean, it seems like a bittersweet ending there for Omega Nemesis because they played that early game very well. Going into the mid game, it started very well for them, but then, like we said, all it's going to take is one mistake, and if a team's going to catch you out on your mistake, it's a team like AGHK because they have the experience of the KIC wildcards. They've gone against many fantastic teams within HoK across all the different scenes here. So again, they will find your weakness and they will pinpoint it, and they will end the game pretty premature, because we honestly thought that that wasn't going to happen there, but they managed to get the crucial kill theft onto the Shadow Overlord. They picked off Fang. Mai was having to recall back, but at that time, they was already at your door. The Lions are at the door. They are not taking it from Snakes anymore, and AGHK take the victory in the grand finals of the Open Series Split 1 in the wildcard bracket. But just a reminder for those viewing, if you are new, both of these teams do go through to the regional finals, the LAN, which I'm not too sure where it's going to be yet. I believe from Wikipedia it's saying that it's Abu Dhabi, but we're not too sure yet. But both of these teams, you will get to see battle again, whether it will be the face-off of the grand finals of the LAN. We're not too sure yet, but here is the post-game stats for this game.
Man, you know, my personal MVP is Myosotis, because if he was not able to bag those 2 kills, I think AGHK might not be able to end the game immediately. But for now, I've seen Snow on this Mayin. It's giving a lane. That's how aggressive he still is. Consistency is definitely the key, but Zace on Arlie is different. Good different even. Usually in the early game, we don't see Arlies become aggressive. I mean, they just jump in and use Autumn Storm, but that's about it. But with Zace, which is our MVP, it's a difficult play style. You know, keeping Tom at bay, making things work. Was able to dish out 53k worth of damage taken 26k, but he is safe, doesn't matter. And here are our standings. Again, AGHK winning our finals with 4-1, but like what Blam said, Omega Nemesis and AGHK will still make their ways into the LAN, so make sure that you are keeping an update on where the LAN will be. You can fly over there or you can visit just to see our teams here. So sadly my prediction was wrong, but that was quite a series. What's your favorite game, favorite moment, or anything that you liked about that series, honestly, Blam?
Absolutely, I've really enjoyed it. It's been great seeing some of these new teams come from different regions, and we really hope that you guys and girls watching in the chats on either YouTube, Facebook really enjoyed it as well. And like Yuko says, if you do want to keep up to it, keep an eye on the social media pages for Honor of Kings Global Esports to see where these broadcasts for the regional finals will be held. But this is me signing off now. I've been Blam, and with me, Yuko. Thank you very much for joining me. And once again, thanks to Honor of Kings for having us cast a fantastic event. Thank you very much, guys, and we will see you at the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, gamers and champions, welcome to the 2024 Honor of Kings Open Series Split 1. Get ready to see the convergence of skill and strategy as teams from various realms come together to compete for glory. This is your chance to witness the rise of Titans and be part of this ongoing epic. The road to the final will unfold in 2 stages, the round of 16 to the finals and the grand finals. In the first stage, 4 regions will take part. Turkey, EEU will compete on May 16th to 17th, followed by MENA and a mysterious wildcard on May 18th to 19th. Only the 2 most resilient teams from each region will advance to the prestigious EMEA Regional Finals, which will be held from May 30th till June 2nd. 8 teams will face off in an electrifying offline showdown. A staggering prize pool of $23,000 is waiting for those who are brave enough to seize it. Those who demonstrate unparalleled skill and control of the game. Join us, witness the path journey of champions and of history in the making.